Hello, we're back. Hi. Okay, cool. It's so annoying. Every time it's all about to get juicy, this thing always ends and it's like, no! Stop doing that! Oh, gosh. But anyway, so we were talking, give us a quick roundup on the stuff you were talking about.
Yeah, you were saying putting husband and wife first.
Yes.
You can still do it even when you have children.
Yeah.
Okay. It's about, and Rob, you were about to say the discipline and setting boundaries for children so that they understand that there are rules to follow as well.
Yeah, I think especially with children, it's about giving them their time as well. So I think where the children might be of school age that can do things by themselves, and you're parents and you're working, you're not actually engaging with your kids. And that's probably one of the, even though the education part of it has been hard, I've actually enjoyed my kids learning and back and forth, understanding how, especially because we don't go to school with them, so we don't see how they function in school and their capacity to learn in school. So at home now, I'm actually understanding how they process information, how they make rational decisions in their minds. And I'm trying not to be that vexed parent that's kind of saying, shout at them the same thing over and over again, the same questions. So we're actually investing time in them. So like this morning, obviously we're on holiday now, but Sonia got up, my younger son got up early, and they watched the movie together before everyone else was awake. So he had a long time with mummy today. So I'll make sure that our gym time, I'm in the gym, my son's pumping weights, the other one's doing boxing, the other one's doing press-ups. So I'm actually having time with them in that space where they actually feel like they've not just been go in front of the TV or go and get on with it, they actually spend the time with us. So I'm hoping it's working that when it comes to our time, they respect that. Yeah. We don't mess around anymore. When it's bedtime, it's bedtime. Anyway. Yeah. But they seem to be quite content with how things are going at the moment. So that structure is really important for us.
Mm. Yeah, wow. Oh my gosh, that is really, really good. Really, really good. Okay, so just because I know we're going to start wrapping it up because I know you guys have got to go soon. So for you, Rob, because I think one of the things that I love doing is talking to men, because I want to see where men's heads are at in terms of like how this is affecting them. Honestly, because like some talk, some don't. Apparently men are actually talking now. So I'm like, okay, well, let me ask questions, which is really great. So for you as a man, like how has this been for you, like, mentally? Because, everyone's a lot more aware now about how mental health issues can really affect you. And I think this pandemic, the serious season that we're in, that's going to even heighten so much more thoughts and feelings and emotions in, men and women, because, there's a high rate of suicide in men and black men in particular anyway as well. So for you as a man, how are you handling all this? I know you said that you work from home anyway because you guys are self-employed. How is the whole being self-employed, coronavirus affecting the income, and then how is that playing on your mind as a father, as a husband, as a provider? Like, what's all that like for you?
Yeah, it's huge really. So my work involves schools and young people, so my work is face-to-face contact. So that's completely shut down.
Wow.
Basically. So, and mine probably started a bit earlier because the schools were kind of aware of what was happening. A lot of things that I had potentially lined up were kind of quieting down. Probably like mid to the end of Jan this year. So because we knew what was happening, so for me, I think that provider instinct has kicked in big time. Obviously, I think initially when it first started coming around in the UK, I was like, sure, it's not really a big thing. We can still do what we're doing. And then to one point, when it got serious, I was like, actually, how would I feel as the man in the house if I was the cause of my family getting this virus? So that kind of was a check for me in my spirit. Actually, we've got to take this thing serious. So it's almost gone back to like caveman days kind of thing.
The survival mode, caveman survival.
Markets kind of shutting down, going to not being able to get toilet paper, rice, bread, all that kind of stuff. So actually going shopping and being able to come back with what I left to go and get, I felt like, yeah, okay, I'm providing for my family in this season,
Yeah.
Again, I'll always talk about my foundation as a man that believes in God. That's been my rock and my foundation, big time. Because in the midst of it, I know that if God is for me, who can be against me? I know that even in the midst of lack.
Mm. Oh,
We're going to recover, because God's in you, you know. So, and it's also me as a man who's got 3 sons, trying to have a conversation, trying to connect with them about how their worldview of this virus is.
Yeah.
You know, are they just oblivious to it? Are they conscious of it? For me, it's actually this is going to be part of their history.
Yeah.
You know, when in 40 years' time, they're going to be talking about this season of being no school, no exams, no tests. You know what I mean? So my friend was like, actually, he's in year 6. So he's like, you know, I'm not seeing my friends again because he's going to secondary school in September.
Wow.
We've actually been able to connect with him emotionally and talk through something with him. I've learned so much about myself more than anything in this season. So I'm trying to improve myself daily, trying to be a better husband. Again, I'm determined to come out as a husband, the other side, better off.
Yes.
I'm determined to be strong in my faith. So one of the things that we're doing this week is RE. So even though we're we plan to do with the boys the Station of the Cross. So for me, as a dad, actually what I'm passing down to my sons about Easter, I've got opportunity now to not drill in, but to make it real for them. The gospel, what it actually means, salvation, what it actually means for them, you know. So I'm telling the truth. Can I say that I'm enjoying it? I'm enjoying being around my family. I'm enjoying being with my wife. I'm enjoying being a family man. I feel like I've got 4 lives I'm responsible as a man. You know, so I feel privileged. You know, so
awesome. That is so good. You know what? That is so encouraging, like to hear that. And I think that's why how I'm going to ask you, Sonia, like having your husband the way he thinks. Does that help you, and then also bring a level of like confidence and a bit of rest to know that, you know, I have a husband who is for God, who goes to God first, strong in his faith and able to lead us? Like for you, how does that help you? Does that, you know, kind of give you like that peace of like, you know what, God, we're all going to get through this?
Yeah. To be honest, I feel somewhat unworthy because when I was single and wanting to be married, and I was praying and fasting and pleading and declaring and casting out and all sorts. And at the top of most Christian women's list is give me a man of God, you know? And of course, we're involved, as we said, of mentoring couples, and we see some people who proclaim to be, but once they get married, they kind of fall away or step back a little bit. And I've seen Rob's relationship with God intensify year after year after year, whereas he literally is a man after God's own heart. And he just wants to do God's will. And he will always seek God. When times get tough, he's not sitting down trying to work things on paper. He's getting out of his bed in the dark, in the early hours of the morning, to go down to the front room and pray. Go before God and pray. The kids will come in and say, well, where's Daddy? Is he praying? They know. And I feel unworthy sometimes to have been blessed with such a gift. And I don't feel, it's not because I don't think I'm worth it. I just feel unworthy simply because the enormity of God, and he chose this man for me, humble me, like just me. It's I'm not worthy, you know? So in that sense, I don't take it for granted at all, not at all. I think because we're around so many other couples, of which there are many men that are like this. I'm not a man basher, not one to say, oh, most men don't really. But I have to say, I had a scary moment, a very scary moment. 2 weeks after we got married, we got back from honeymoon. We're living together now. You know, we're having all the sex that we want, to the point where we had to call doctors to help. Do you know what I mean? And then Rob decided, just keep it real. Rob decided one Sunday morning that he wasn't going to church. He just wanted to stay in bed and let's just carry on where we left off. I was so scared. I thought, you tricked me. Now we're married. Now you're going to fall away. You're going to backslide. I'm going to be with this man who doesn't follow God. And it frightened me. And I said, you know what? I'll see you when I get back. I am going to church. And I sat in that church chair, the seat, And I pleaded, God, please don't let this be my portion. Don't let me be the one that didn't see through the facade because we got married so quickly, you know?
Yeah.
And it was just a blip. It's fine. The following week it was in it's fine now. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, you know what? Just hearing you two talk about that, like I got a little bit emotional when you said that you felt unworthy and just how he's growing daily and everything, you know, year on year, you see him grow and everything like that. And I'm like, Lord, please let that be so. Like, obviously, we just pray and hope that they are there. They are there. But like, God, put them in our path. Just put one in our path and just, hello, yes, you know. But, no, Rob, thank you, because you're kind of like, I think some women might be hearing and some, you know, but I think you've kind of like given a little bit of hope that it is possible. And I think when you really put God first in all that you do, and you're really following him, then everything else is just going to like, everything else will align and it will work out together. So,
and just to encourage obviously a lot of churches are probably mainly women, and a lot of women we hear, do you see there's not a lot of men out there. For me, before I became a Christian, I was a lost hope. In the early stages of my Christianity, the first 3-4 years, if you looked at my lifestyle, was a lost hope. Even in church, I looked the part and I was worshiping, but my lifestyle outside of church was a mess.
We're different,
But God. But God. So there's a lot of women in church that are walking through their challenges and going through stuff.
Yeah.
The people of prayer, yes, but God. God is able. God is able, and I think God uses when the Bible talks about God using the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. That's me. That's me. You know, in that sense, so I'm happy that in my weakness, God can show Himself strong.
Yes, definitely.
Encourage anybody that what you see now. I'm not talking about the external package, but what I have now as a man of God didn't look like that package when we met. Which is why I had to go to God. I had to go before God. And God told me to be at peace. God gave me John 14:27. He said, be at peace. My peace I give you, not as the world gives, you know. And that was my confirmation. I've been praying and fasting for years for my husband to come. But he didn't look like this. Some people, what I'm trying to say is some people are now, at the very early beginning stages, are looking for the ready-made man of God. Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't always begin that way. Sometimes you need to come together to develop and grow that way. And there's certain things that Rob will not tolerate in my behaviour, and certain things I will not tolerate. And because of that, we've been able to mature together and realise that, listen, that's nonsense. Cut that out. That can't happen. And he rubs off on me. I hope I rub off on him. And so there's this, you know, we're growing together, and then we have the accountability of those around us, that we know we have responsibility. We can't be teaching others about marriage and relationships, and ours is not in a good place. Although ours isn't perfect, it's so far from perfect. We constantly have conflict, but we're learning how to resolve that so that we can testify of what we've encountered and what we've been through, so that we can say to others, look, it's fine. Don't be scared. Just because you're arguing every day doesn't mean you're not meant to be together. I think if God doesn't allow us to go through the thing, then we're speaking from a platform that's unknown. But the fact that we've lived it, and we've had the poverty, and we've had the fear of not being able to have children, we've had all of that happening to us, we can then go on and encourage others. Because God doesn't give it to us for us. He gives it so that we can pass it on like a flowing river. And it's a shame for us all.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. Amazing. Gosh, man. I know we could go on for so long, but I know you guys have to go very shortly. If you have any questions right now, please get your questions in ASAP, because we're going to be rounding up. And if you have any advice that you want from Rob and Sonia, please get your questions in ASAP. I'm gonna do like the whole separate thing, you know, for the men, for the women, right? For you, Rob, in this season, what's your advice to men, to husbands, to fiancés, and to boyfriends and husbands in this season of, you know, the coronavirus? What is your advice to the men?
Good question.
Just one,
yeah. I heard someone share a message the other day, and there's a doctor that was in hospital, and he was basically said that his colleagues were asking him, in the midst of this pandemic, when you're having to go face to face with patients, why are you not anxious? And he said, look, I'm doing all the measures that I need to do, But if my God can't protect me in coronavirus, how can I trust him with my soul?
Wow.
And for me, that's the challenge, that it's either God is true or it's not true. So in this season, is financial challenges, is God your provider? Yes or no? In the midst of having to deal with your emotions, is God's burden too heavy? No. So I think the thing is about, I would say, about be comfortable outside of your comfort zone.
Wow. Okay.
Everybody's experiencing this for the first time.
Right,
so
right.
So I'm having to come out of my comfort zone and do things I wouldn't normally do, or engage in conversations I wouldn't normally engage with. So for husbands, wives, boyfriends, whatever, I challenge you to put your spouse first before your needs.
Wow.
As a leader, because Christ came to serve. So in this season, serve. Serve like I've never served before, and see what you get back in reply.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Love that. Oh my gosh. Wow, man, that is awesome. Okay, so for you, Sonia, for the women, for the wives, for the girlfriends, for the fiance as well, what is your advice in this season for them? Like, what's for them?
I would say, again, if you have to narrow it down, I would say turn off the TV, turn off the Hollywood, and remember that you've been called to be the helpmate to your spouse. If we go back to the original Bible, Adam was born first and he had lots of responsibility, created first, and he had lots of responsibility. And then Eve came along, and she was called to be the helpmate to her husband. Now, whilst we can all swallow what the society is saying about being equal, I wouldn't say I'm not equal to my husband, but I know that I'm called to be a helpmate to him, whatever that might mean. That doesn't mean that I do all the cooking, all the cleaning, care for the children. That's not what a helpmate means. What I mean is, if I'm doing my best to serve my husband and help him to be the best he can be, I'm now releasing him to be the best he can be for me. And if he's treating me the way that I love to be treated, my love tank is so full that it overflows back over onto him. So we're trying to outdo each other in preferring one another. If I can, how many cups of tea can I bring you? Okay, no, we're not going to have an argument about it. Just serve, and just be the best wife you can be. Put aside all the stuff that society says about being a strong woman and no man's ever going to do so. Actually, deep down, there's a part of us that wants to be loved, cared for, looked after, provided for. So if that's all the things that you desire, then stop trying to be the one that does it all the time and allow yourself to be cared for. There will be moments where you need to be strong, and there's moments where he needs to be strong. But you can't both go at it like this. It's going to be constant conflict. So learn how to serve others, serve your neighbors, but first and foremost, under God. First of all, be a husband, be a wife to God first. Yeah, learn to communicate and talk to God. Learn to listen to God. Learn to serve God. Learn to be obedient to God. Once you've learned all of those things, now apply it to your fleshly husband. Then the children. And in that order, you should begin to see more harmony in your home, because a man just wants to be respected. He just wants to be respected. If I keep saying to Rob, for crying out loud, be a man. If I keep saying that, what I'm actually saying is, you're not being a man, and now I'm knocking him further and further and further down. And yet I want him to love on me and show me affection. Queen. When all I'm doing is knocking him down with my words, not going to work.
Wow. My gosh. Thank you so much for that. Right. I've got some questions for you real quickly that have just come through. Someone just mentioned, I am genetics. Hey, Jeanette. She says, the feminist feathers are being ruffled. And I think that was when you talked about, forget what the society is saying, blah, 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 that about being equal. Like, nah. Get out of the way. Okay, so a question from here. Ars982 says, question for you, Sonia and Rob. My partner and I have been together for a short period of time. He is very spiritual and wants us to marry sooner rather than later, as you both got married within a year. What is your advice on making this relationship work? Ooh.
Okay, so my first thing is, what's God saying?
Amen. That's it. We don't need to add to that. What is God saying? And in the very person that says, I'm not sure, you are sure. You do know. because there might be things that are occurring that you know aren't right, but the fear of not having someone, the fear of, maybe what if it doesn't work out? What if he doesn't want to not have sex? What if he does? That fear, that gut feeling that we have is very much there. It's called the Holy Spirit, and he's telling you. So you do know, but there's no need to rush. If you're not ready and he's willing to wait, then wait. Yeah. Learn each other a bit more.
I think there's two sides about hearing from God and the practicalities of, i.e., what's your vision for your wedding day? If your vision is to have however many people there, 200 people, 300 people there, if your vision doesn't meet your resources, how's it going to work? I.e., you want this many people, but at the moment you can't afford it. So practically, if you're saving, it's going to be maybe a year or so. So it's about actually having a conversation and what's his motivation for wanting to be married sooner, and what's your motivation for not wanting to be married now if you're not sure. It's about having those uncomfortable conversations from now. I would suggest, but more than anything, what's the Holy Spirit saying? More than anything, because for us, the first 2 weeks when the Holy Spirit spoke to us, in the first 2 weeks of us getting together, when I knew Sonia was my wife, I knew we were going to get married, but there was still a lot of practical opposition that came against us, and the things that we had to work out. So even when God says yes, there's still a process we've got to go through.
And we were very accountable. Straight to our pastor with it. We were very accountable. Yeah. But the thing is, if it is a sex thing, because let's be real, a lot of older couples as well who probably have the finances to get married quickly because they can't wait. But if that's the only reason, I'm not saying it's a bad reason, that's the reality. But if that's the only reason, be very prayerful, because God can take that desire that you feel you can't control. God can take that and enable you to sustain yourself for the period where you are courting. He can handle that. But also as a woman, are you doing things to entice him, to make it harder for him to wait? I remember sitting in the car and I used to be like this with Rob, and I'd be stroking the back of his neck. And he would say to me, babe, whilst that feels amazing, it's not helping me to hold off right now. And I had to not do it. Because, with their breasts, they're all out. It's not helping the man to be able to sustain himself. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I was walking around with muscle fit t-shirt. That's not helping me.
Use wisdom, seek God, and seek wise counsel. Have people that you're accountable to. More than anything, accountability.
Definitely. Wow, accountability is so important as well. So important. And lastly, how important are, because I know we're about to finish now, just lastly, boundaries. Let's talk about boundaries real quickly, especially for those who are in a relationship, not yet married, but in a relationship or engaged, like boundaries. How important are those?
I think boundaries are everything. Essential. I think everything to do with, as an individual, what's your individual boundaries, first of all. That's why we do the rooted course. Actually, don't wait to do in a relationship before you set your boundaries. Set your boundaries before you're in a relationship. So that person's then got to come to meet your expectations and standards.
I mean, there will be boundaries that you agree on together. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, once you set the boundary, now don't tease each other. Don't say, right, we're not, let's be agreed that in the kingdom, we're not having sex before marriage. And quite often people say, right, just to reiterate, we're not having sex before marriage. But come under the cover, we'll just watch Netflix. But nothing's going to happen. I mean, really? Don't do it. Don't go there. So we were, as I said, we lived on our own. We were very careful about not being in each other's spaces because it's bound to come up. You know what I mean? Be very careful. Sorry. Be very careful. Be very, very careful about those boundaries. Both of you make the effort to make sure the boundaries are kept to. Yeah. There will be often occasions where one is stronger than the other when it comes to boundaries. Yeah. And so when if I'm feeling weak, I have to be the one to say, hello, we said this is not happening. Yeah. I'm getting a bit hot and bothered, I'm out here. It may be boundaries around spending when you're trying to save for a wedding. Whatever it might be, there has to be an accountability there and a strength between you. Because if you can't have your boundaries there, what's going to happen when you're married?
Yeah, that's so true.
Leaders on discipleship.
Right.
So even now, I have guys that I'm spending time with, that at any moment I can ask them how they're getting on in their relationship. Are they having sex? How is that boundary going? So I will just straight call them and say, how are you getting on? And vice versa, me as a married man of 15 years with 3 children, I have contemporaries that can call me and say, well, how's the wife? They won't even call and ask how I'm doing. They ask me how the wife doing.
Oh wow.
That's my. I've put boundaries around myself now. So the reason why I invest so much in younger guys in my church and in my life is that I know that if I flop, if I mess up my marriage, it impacts so many other people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Per self-imposed boundaries I've got guys that are looking up to me and saying, well, you know what? Yeah, you're living that life I want to live. So I've got to make sure I do things right as well.
Yeah, definitely. Gosh, it's got to be that positive influence. Oh, guys, honestly, I could have gone on for so much more I wanted to ask you and talk to you about. I know we're so much out of time. Someone just said genetics. Genetics said, just when we're talking about boundaries, she said, my husband told me to put on sweats while we were courting.
Wise man.
That's so good. It's like that's so cool. Thank you, Jeanette. I appreciate it for that tip. But yeah, no, seriously, Sonia and Rob, thank you so much for coming on today. I mean, it has been absolutely brilliant, and for the advice for people to kind of like take on whilst in this season. You know, men need to learn how to just continue to serve, be there, trust God. Women, be the helpmate. You know, just set things just put aside and just focus on your husband as well. So important. So thank you so much for joining me this evening. I really appreciate you both so much, like from the heart, man. Seriously. So how can people like basically find out more about you? For relationships, how they can get in touch, the counseling, because I'm sure there's some people listening and thinking, okay, let me get this counseling thing going. How can they get in touch with you?
One of the things we're planning for next Saturday, the 18th, is we're going to be doing a marriage meetup on Zoom. So if anyone's interested in that, it's not quite on there yet, but it's soon going to be on the City Gates, which is the church that we go to, the City Gates Church in Ilford. It's going to be on their website, and the link will be on there. We're also on Instagram. I'm Sonia Harris 71, and you're Rob Harris underscore 26. On Amazon, we have a couple of books that talk about if you're in the single stage or if you're planning to get married. There's the Rooted Relationships book, the testimonial of how more my journey and then Rob coming into the journey is also on there, +1 in 3. YouTube, we have a YouTube channel called Share It. So we share
watch it. It's fun. It's actually, I watch some of your videos. It's brilliant.
So thank you. So, yeah, there's a variety of ways. In the back of the book, there's an email that you can get hold of us as well. So there's a variety of ways that you can get hold of us.
Fantastic. Well, Rob and Sonia, thank you ever so much for joining me again. I appreciate it. Thank you for the words of wisdom that you have spoken this evening, and 15 years of marriage. I pray God continues to, to take that to another 15, 30, 40 years and continue to like share the wisdom and just, changing people's lives and marriages. Definitely helped me with some things too. So thank you so much for these tips as well. So really appreciate you a lot. So thank you so much. All right, cool guys. Take care. God bless. Happy quarantining.